So I have to check my phone too to make sure.
It told me it was being live streamed. So
Okay. Okay, good. All right. I think we are in. Does it say meeting? Okay, let me check on Facebook. Okay, where I'm checking on my page. That's from. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Wait, why is the same play? Okay, got it. Let me turn this off. Okay, so we are live stream. And like I said, I'm gonna have my phone. So if people have questions, they can ask questions, and we'll give it a few seconds. I hope I know how to do this. I've done it before. So as people are coming in, um, let me lower this. Thank you guys. As you guys are coming in, joining us. I can't see it on my laptop, so I do have my phone. Okay, so we're going to start the interview. If you have any questions for Amanda, please put them in the comments. I have my phone, so I could ask her and she's going to answer. All right. Oh, Becky. Becky goes, look who's back. I miss your face. Oh,
oh,
I miss you too, Becky. Now, Becky's husband, unfortunately, passed away a few years ago from lung cancer. And I don't remember if he was ALK or not, Becky. Let me know in the comments. So, yeah, and I met her in Tennessee, and when I was out there on vacation in the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area, and she was out there with her kids, and I was there, and she brought me this huge basket with all kind of goodies from South Carolina. That was so sweet of her. Yes,
ah,
he was out like us. Okay, thank you, Becky. And it is South Carolina, right? Because I always get it confused with both states. So, anyways, guys, I want to welcome you all. Thank you for joining us. Today, tonight, this evening, however you want to say it, interview is with Amanda. This is Amanda. This beautiful face that you see with right now is Amanda. Amanda is from, tell me if I'm saying it wrong. Visalia, California.
Visalia,
Yeah,
Visalia.
Visalia, California. So she's all the way on that side of the world. um, she was diagnosed August of 2022. So guess what, guys? This August, she just celebrated her 2-year cancer anniversary. So clap, let's give it up for her. She is living with lung cancer. She's thriving, she's surviving, and she's doing everything in her power to stay alive and beat this, or make it like we all have a chronic illness, right? She
Yep.
is positive like me. So she's ALK positive, and she unfortunately is stage 4. So welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for taking time off. I know it's 5 p.m. your time, so thank you. I appreciate it. She is going to share her story, guys. And whatever her heart feels like, she needs to let us know. That's how we do these interviews. She's gonna share with us about her symptoms. That is very important because we all have different symptoms with lung cancer, and that's what I'm striving for now is for all of us to speak about our symptoms because everybody is different. Um, it could be the most of the symptom is coughing, shortness of breath, but I've heard some crazy symptoms out there. So, Amanda, take it away.
Thank you, Juanita, for having me. And doing, all your awareness and publication or publicity about lung cancer, regardless of what type of lung cancer you have or how you got it. Um, you're such an inspiration, and I've enjoyed getting to see your posts and stuff on the ALK Positive site and everything else. So in terms of me, my official journey in terms of becoming ALK positive is actually coming up in September. It takes like a month to get the results. So officially 2 years, knowing I had lung cancer. In terms of my journey, um, officially it started, January of 2022. I had a cold, and a cough, and so I just thought it was, seasonal type deal. We're in January and everybody gets sick, and changing seasons. And so I just thought that was it. Went to the doctor. They're like, yeah, just, take your normal over the counter cough meds. Plus, I have seasonal allergies. Like, just take your meds, no problem. And I started feeling better. But in end of March, I was having constant cough, and I mean all the time. And I was getting to a point on my way home one day, I was coughing so hard I could not catch my breath.
Mm.
Um, and and I have an hour long commute to and from work. So I was on my drive home, and it's 7 o'clock at night. So like primary care physician's out the door. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to go to the ER because that always ends up being an overnight waiting in the ER to get anything. So I'm like, let's just go to urgent care. Like, let's figure out what's going on. So they did a chest x-ray and they go, well, you have pneumonia. And I'm like, and they go, well, walking pneumonia, because I didn't even have this, typical symptoms besides a cough and an elevated heart rate. I didn't have a fever or anything. So they go, no, this. So they gave me antibiotics to treat that. And they gave me some breathing medication and an inhaler and sent me home. And great, I started feeling better in terms of like I was getting some of my energy back, but the cough wouldn't go away. So about 2 weeks later, I'm on my drive home and I get in a coughing fit again where I couldn't breathe again. So I go back. Again, it's late in the evening, driving home. So I go back to the urgent care. They're like, hey, like the pneumonia spread. And we're going to switch you antibiotics. It must have been resistant to the one we gave you. Um, and and I book an appointment with my primary care for another week later to follow up after the course of antibiotics that I was taking. And I'm still not feeling any better. I still have this cough. It's not going away. And the doctor's like, well, let's go do another chest x-ray. So this is my third round of chest x-rays. We take a chest x-ray, and again, it still looks cloudy, doesn't look like it's changed. And they go, well, let's do a CT scan. Well, insurance companies, and they don't like approving anything. The chest x-ray was easy enough to get, like they give you those anytime. CT scan, they denied it the first time, finally got them to approve it, which took a whole month to get them to approve the CT
Wow.
scan. Um, and I have very good insurance, and my husband, like, I'm double covered. My husband and I both cover each other insurance. So um I was like, okay, like, let's get this. Well, then at point time too, like, we're coming out of COVID, so everything's backed up. So it took a month to get approved to get the CT scan. It takes a month to get in to get the CT scan. And so, like, this point, we're like 2 months, we're several months past the first chest x-ray. Finally come in and get the CT scan. And the very next day, my doctor calls me and says, hey, something came up on your CT scan. Like, it's either lung cancer or you have valley fever, which is a fungal infection that's very common in the Central Valley of California. And actually, my dad had it at one point. So I was like, well, I wouldn't be surprised if I have that, not thinking lung cancer, because I'm at this point in my late 30s. Smoked a few cigarettes, like we're talking less than a dozen cigarettes through college, because it's the
Yeah,
thing to do in college, and you're at the bar and you're drinking and all those fun things.
right.
Um, but you talk to any doctor, like, yeah, no, we're talking like hundreds of cigarettes if you're talking about having lung cancer from actually smoking. So they're like, yeah, that's So I'm like, so I'm thinking, okay, no problem. So they do a blood test, thinking, to look and see if I had valley fever. And that's a test again. It takes a while for the test results to come in. Um, and so at this point in time, my doctor's like, well, I want to send you to a pulmonologist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. So they like, well, it takes about 2 weeks for it to go through, and and they'll call you. So about 3 weeks go by, and I haven't heard anything from the pulmonologist who he referred me to make an appointment. So I call and they go, "Oh, the doctor's out for the next month." I'm like, I'm
Oh,
like, okay, no, 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 you don't understand. Like, I'm getting told I may have lung cancer, and you're telling me I have to wait another month for him to come back. And at that point, too, on top of it, he's about a month later than that booking out. And I'm like, so 2 months I'm waiting on top of whatever he waited. And I was like, yeah, no. So luckily, a friend, who my husband works with, had a friend that was a pulmonologist in um, Fresno at the UC. San Francisco has a lung nodule program, specifically looking in terms of valley fever and lung cancer in the Central Valley, and trying to put more resources available in the Central Valley in California. And so she's able to get me into the lung nodule program. So a week later, we're in the middle of July, I have an appointment. And, the doctors are like, at this point in time, I am the youngest patient they've ever seen. Um, and they're like, okay, well, the next day, like I was in there on a Thursday, that next day on Friday. So not even 20, it's like 12 hours after my appointment, they go, we're having you in and we're doing a bronchoscopy and we're going to figure out what's going on. And so I was very fortunate enough that the bronchoscopy that they did, the doctor was able to get biopsies and and he, in terms of the technique they used, he's like one of like 4 doctors in California that can do it. So very fortunate to be in his skilled hands. Um, and so the next week, I get a phone call that, they want to meet me in person. Because before they're like, well, we'll call you back with the results. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't tell me the results. They told me I have to come in. And I'm like, okay. At this point in time, I also get back the results from my valley fever test. And it came back that at some point I had valley fever. I didn't have a currently active case, but because it caused scarring of your lung tissue, like that could be why my lungs look like the way they did. Okay. So I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, they're just going to tell me I have valley fever. I know the protocol. It's a fungicide. Like, no big deal. My dad was on it. Like, this is easy peasy. I got this. And I just couldn't get past this feeling like God was telling me, like, hey, there's something else going on here. This isn't it. Like, I couldn't drop this feeling. And sure enough, the next day we go in, the doctor just looks at me, and he was at that point in time the dean of the medical program at this regional hospital for UCSF. So, and he goes like, hey, you have stage 4 lung cancer. He goes, I'm not going to beat a bear on the bush. He goes, you're a well-educated individual, so I'm going to tell you flat out. Like, and I'm like sitting there going, I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? And he goes, I'm fairly confident. He goes, we don't know what caused your lung cancer. We don't know those things, but we did take the biopsies. We have the tissue. We're going to send them off for testing, for Foundation 1 testing. And we're going to make sure, we're going to figure out what this is. Okay, he goes, I'm 99% confident that you have a genetic mutation.
So the test that you just said, so basically it's the biomarker testing.
Yeah, it is the biomarker testing. Yes,
okay,
and that
let's
is
clear that up. Okay.
Yes, and so I'm like, okay, but the caveat with insurance companies is they have to wait 2 weeks after they take the biopsy for you to be able to submit that biomarker testing. And I'm like, so what is the insurance company hoping you die in the next 2 weeks? So they don't have to pay for the test or what? So at that point in time, they get me in. That next week, they get me in and get me in for staging, because they knew I was at least stage 3, because they did find it in one other lobe when they did the bronchoscopy. Mm-hmm. But we're not sure if like it's beyond there. So we go in, they get me in that next week, get my PET scans and an MRI to make sure, see where it has if there was any metastasis. praise God that I did not have any brain mets when I got the MRI results back. I did have a bone met that was very small, and which may have been why I had so much back pain for the last couple years.
Oh.
Um, so I was like, and I was just attributing to the fact that I've always had a little bit of back issues since I was in a car accident when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So, you write off some of those pains and you're like, oh, it's just my normal stuff. Well, wasn't. Um, so they were very fortunate. They hooked me up with an amazing oncologist that specializes in lung cancer that is um, an affiliate professor with UCSF Med program. And he was very adamant. He goes, we are not doing any chemotherapy. We are not doing any immunotherapy. We are doing nothing until your biopsy results come back from the biomarker testing with Foundation One, which is was a tissue sample. He goes, in the meantime, because that test can take a couple weeks to come back, we're also going to send in a blood sample for biomarker testing. It's not, again, not as quite as sensitive as the tissue, but he goes, if it's something's there and it's going to pop up, hopefully we'll get that sooner, because that one I can have back in a couple of days in comparison to a couple of weeks with the Foundation One biomarker. Actually, both test results came back on the same day, funny enough. Um, um, and found out, he calls me on the phone and he goes, I have some great news. And I'm like, great news? He goes, you have, this rare genetic mutation. I was actually his first patient that he had was ALK positive. Now he has 5 of us.
Oh, wow.
So I was his first one, and he's picked up several others that were diagnosed right after me within the last 2 years. So it's sort of interesting in terms of how that came about, in terms of like so many of us in a geographic region within a
Right.
small period of time. Um, and so, at that point, he goes, there's several medication choices, and he had consulted with Dr. Blakely, who is a ALK expert at UCSF, and they determined that they were going to start me on alectinib, which is a second generation TKI or inhibitor that they go, we're not going to do any radiation on your bone met or anything, because we're going to see what does alectinib. We're going to give it time to work.
Okay.
2 months later, my first CT scan or PET scan after starting alectinib, my bone met is completely resolved. Like, there's just scarring there, nothing. It's completely resolved. All my tumors have shrunk. There's less nodule involvement, and things are looking good. So, and that's continued. After about 6 months on alectinib, we did I'm on MRIs every 6 months to make sure they keep an eye on my brain, even though, because I haven't had any involvement in the brain, but just to make sure I'm not
Right.
having that. I get Once a year I get a PET scan, just so we have an idea of what is going on, and then every 3 months I get CT scans. And as of right now, the cancer is still stable, and because I just had a scan this week and got the results back, preliminary results, and it's all unchanged.
Great. That's awesome. Now, before I forget, going back to um the blood and the tissue, and you
Mm-hmm.
said they both came back on the same day. Did they both come back out?
They both came back out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So they
Because I'm
both came back
confused.
out. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what I had sent you was like my tissue, because that's where they found out, like, I do have an amplification, not a MET one, another one that doesn't have a targeted therapy, and actually the specific mutation of ALK, even though I have a variant 1 mutation, the actual, like, where it mutated at on the gene is actually a rare one too. In talking to Dr. Bakley, it's one that is not as common, but has been responding very well to alectinib, and the doctors are really encouraged by that.
And what's that? The rare amplification for the one
It
that they,
it's a T. I can't
so
remember
there's
what
not a name, it's just letters and numbers.
it's just letters and numbers.
Okay, okay. For the ones
So,
that are
oh
listening.
yeah. So, the rare amplification I have is MSC, is that amplification, um,
uh,
and generally it is a more aggressive amplification in terms of it speeds up cancer growth, but I must not have as high of an amplification. It must just be there. Like my cancer has responded to not having anything addressing that specific amplification and just taking the alectinib targeted
okay.
therapy.
That's good. That's good. Okay. So see, I learned something new. So it's another amplification that is very rare and it's MSC.
Yes,
But you've so and it's aggressive, but with you so far it hasn't been. So that's
it
good.
hasn't.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah, that's good to know. And then I know you said, okay, so you go for CT scans every 3 months, you go for MRI every 6 months, and a PET scan every year.
yes,
Okay. And that's good to know too, because everyone is different. Like I go for a CT scan every 4 months. They actually move mine because I'm already um just I'm close to the 10-year mark. So
right.
they said, okay, we could push it back at least one more month. So instead of me going every 3 months, I now go every 4 months. I do go every 3 months for MRI because I do have brain mets, two small little tiny stubborn ones that they can't even measure. It's so damn tiny. It's just there. They don't want to go away. They're just there. And then I haven't had a PET scan in almost 10 years. Like I don't get PET scans at all because I'm clear of all my CT scans. So everyone is different. That's good to know. Um,
Yeah,
so
and
yeah,
I'm still young in the journey in terms of, you know, as we get further along. He says that for right now we're doing the PET scan because I still have slight activity.
okay.
Um, where so I don't have, you know, doctors all talk about NED or no evidence of disease.
Uh-huh.
In tech, in terms of my doctors and Dr. Bakley, they're like, yes, technically you're NED because it is so stable and hasn't done anything. Like it's not active. Like the activity I have that lights up from the PET scan is so small in terms of the SUV that they go, it could be simply inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
and that you're always going to be at that low level.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So that's what sometimes I think like maybe I'm NED because they haven't it's been there and it's stable and electing is keeping it at bay, but still I just want it gone. But I guess the little
It,
suckers just they don't want to leave my body.
and I've learned with they're my friends now that, we're
Yeah.
companions, and as long as you're not going to try to kill me anymore, I don't care.
I know. I thought about naming my two brain meds, so I got to think of unique names. So for those that are coming in, it shows a few of you guys are watching. I can't even talk today. Remember, if you have any questions for Amanda, put them in the comments. I could see them on my phone and I could ask her and she could answer them. Um, so yeah, just put them in the comments, guys, if you have any questions about anything. Even if you think it might not pertain to you, it's irrelevant, you never know. Just ask the questions away. We can help you out the best way we can. Um, so let's talk about wonderful alectinib since we're both on it. So with me, real quick with alectinib, like I said, I'm a grandma when it comes to lung cancer, 10 years, and we got older with lung cancer. But I started off chemo radiation, and then I started off with crisatinib, ceritinib. I was on ceritinib for almost 7 years. That was, yeah, that only side effect I had was severe diarrhea, which I just learned to live with it. And then I did have a little bit of growth, maybe there was a slight change, and they didn't want to risk it. So I've been on a for 2 years, even though I've been dealing with lung cancer for 10. I'm like the newborn crying all the time, the newborn on alectinib, whereas other people, as soon as they were diagnosed, that was their first line of treatment. They just put them on alectinib. So some people have been on it for more than 2 years, 5 years, and here I am, the newborn, and I'm on Alkies Unlimited, complaining and, excuse my language, bitching about the side effects. Like, what's this and what's that? And I still do it because I'm I'm like getting like weird other side effects. So
And they come up like you'll be fine, and then something new pops up, and you're
yes,
like, really?
yes, yes. So let's talk about that because I'm pretty sure there's some Alkies watching and are wondering, okay, what are your side effects? Now, I pretty much got just about everything you could think of and then some. The main one I got was severe muscle aches, which I still have, edema, swelling of the my ankles, but they reduced my dosage. So, and I got off the water pill, so I don't get swelling anymore. Once in a blue moon, I do. The prune hands, the peeling on the bottom of my feet. Um, God, what else? I didn't get headaches. My sugar went up, so I am on metformin. It just and my AC1 shot up, so considered diabetic now, and that's hereditary. And I don't run in my family, so thanks to alectinib, I got that. What else did I get? I can't even remember. And something new popped up. Mouth sores.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes, I got one right now, all the way in the back. It's starting to go away, but this is the second one in about two within 2 weeks. This is the second mouth sore. So what have you and any new ones and what have you gone through with the side effects?
So the first one I had was constipation, and that
Yes.
was the first one I had, and find took extra fiber, or took all the things just to try to relieve the constipation. Finally got that figured out and toned down, and okay, that was honestly about the only one I had when I first started alectinib.
Oh.
About a month after starting alectinib, I developed everybody's favorite alectinib side effect, sun sensitivity.
Yeah,
Um,
got that too.
and that one, like in the winter, I'm okay because in the valley we're very cloudy sometimes in the winter. We have fog. But in the summer, we're triple digit, like 110, 112-degree heat and sun sensitivity. And I can be out in the sun less than 2 minutes, and I will have, and it doesn't feel like a normal sunburn. It feels almost like a chemical burn
Yes, that's
in
what I
terms of,
tell everyone. Yes.
in
Now,
fact, like
does yours take longer to heal?
it,
And though, because
it,
I put aloe vera and I'll put like I have this, where is it at? It's like for like a sunburn, and
it
I got it so bad in my back. And this was in May. I was planting my vegetables and stuff. I said, well, let's start a garden. It was our first time trying it, and I was trying to cover myself, and I got burnt so bad back here that I kept putting the aloe vera and the sunburn like a gel cooling thing, and it took forever to heal. Has that happened to you?
it I've actually been very lucky that I have not got to the point of getting like a burn like that. My bigger problem is that I will have the chemical burn feeling and the tingling feeling
Uh-huh.
for like a week after
Mm.
the sun exposure. So it is taking forever in terms of that sensation to go
That's
away.
yeah.
And I will get it like driving in the car because of the sun beating through the windows. Like I will start getting it, and my hands will start feeling burnt, and I'm in my car driving. I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
this sucks.
Mm. Yeah. Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm tired.
Oh, I don't blame you that, And so that, those were the first ones, and the first ones I dealt with for a while because
Okay.
I was felt so relieved after starting lectin, like almost like within 3 days, like my cough was virtually gone that I had, that I could not get rid of and was coughing 24/7, was almost gone. So when that went away, like I gained so much energy back. I was feeling so much better. that until last year, I even kept, everyone's other favorite elective that a lot of people complain about is weight gain.
Oh,
And
yes.
everyone's
Yes.
a friend, the extra few pounds. And I kept that at bay for a year.
Oh, that's good.
And now year number two, not so much. With it, I started developing hip pains. And
Oh,
I'm like, great. So I was thinking, like, okay, is it, did I, did it spread in terms of like, do I have bone mets in my hip now? Like, and they're like, nope. Like, we did MRIs, we did all the testing. Like, nope, nope. Like, there's something else going on. I have like a tendon tear or something in my hip that is causing my hip issues. So I'm like, okay, not not ready to, I've, edema is one that I've developed a lot in the summer. It's not so bad in the winter months, in terms of swelling in
right.
my legs, but it's weird. So traditionally, like most people that have it, it'll be either your left leg or your right leg in terms of like it's a side of a body.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Mine are like in one spot, one leg will be larger, and the next spot it'll be smaller than the other leg. So it's
Oh,
like sporadic in terms of where the edema is pulling up at in terms of my body. Um, so right now I'm going through physical therapy with an expert that deals with the lymphatic system. And we're getting me fitted with special socks and everything to help
right,
mitigate those issues. Um,
right.
so that's and more recently, too, I get a lot of headaches. I've always struggled
Okay.
with migraines.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it, I want to say like I don't get necessarily get as many migraines as I had been getting prior to diagnosis, but I get a lot more frequently that I have headaches.
Okay. See, I don't have headaches. I didn't get headaches. Yeah, I forgot about the constipation. I forgot about the sun. But you know what? With me, once I got that sunburn, like you said, that chemical burn, and yes, mine was tingling and feeling all that. But now throughout the whole summer, I've been in the sun. I actually got a suntan. It doesn't bother me. It's like that first initial hit with
Oh
the sun, and now I'm fine. Like I could be in the sun, but I try to cover my face because I tend to get sunspots.
yeah, mine's every time I'm in the sun. So like even
Okay.
if I've been exposed and stuff, but I was fair skin and light. I was
Yeah.
susceptible to sunburns beforehand. Like
Okay.
it just made it a bazillion times worse.
Yeah. And the weight gain, yes, I was fine. And I work out not as much as I used to, but I still get my workouts in. And yes, I've gained the weight, but then because of no matter working out and being on metformin, my A1C was still very high. And my other doctor that, he checks, he's my doctor, he's my endocrinologist, but he oversees my thyroid, my cholesterol, and my diabetes now. So he told me, I'm going to put you on Ozempic. And I didn't want to. I'm so glad I love Ozempic. I'm so glad I love Ozempic. So I do have to work out because I'm losing muscle and I could tell my arms. I mean, I had muscles and look, I got the jiggling now because I haven't been working out. So I got to get back to working out to build the muscles again. But yeah, that's one thing you get what they call it, muscle loss. But Ozempic, yes. If any of you guys out there, your doctor, if you're on elective or any targeted therapy that is making you gain weight and your doctor oncologist recommends Ozempic, get on it. Trust me, you'll love it. Can you close the door? Everyone's coming in the room, Amanda. My granddaughter, Steve, my grandson, and they won't let me. They'll be screaming. I'm like, no, y'all gotta go. So yeah. So if any of you guys have any type of, and we wanted to share the side effects because I've noticed that it's not only with alectinib. I mean, a lot of these side effects you hear them with other targeted therapy as well, other TKIs, like people who are on EGFR. I've heard similar side effects like what we've gone through. Um, last 2 weeks ago, I interviewed Melissa. She's RET. And so I don't think she shared her side effects. I don't remember, but it was similar. So it's very similar, and I didn't want to talk about the side effects. And ask your oncologist because there are ways of helping you. Now, I don't know about you, Amanda. When I got on Lectinib, I was screaming and crying and yelling and cursing at my oncologist, like, this is not quality of life. I'm not taking this crap, blah, blah, blah. So they lowered my dosage and they helped me. My constipation was so bad that I was ready to go to the ER and just say, you know what, do what is it called? Enema, whatever, and just,
Enema, yeah.
but I took that. Oh God, it was a clear, girl, put your pants up. It was a clear, it was a clear bottle. God, what is it called? And I had to drink the whole darn thing. The bottle was about like this big. I can't remember the name. So I drank half in the morning, oh, that did it. And then I would put that powder, and I forgot the name of it too. And I will put it in my coffee every morning. And I've been regulated, and then I noticed that I started getting a little bit of constipation again. So I started putting that in my coffee so I could go regular. So it does happen. And your oncologist or your doctor, they would find ways of helping you release those side effects. Edema, they're gonna give you water pills. But Amanda's right. Summer's worse than winter. I'm here in Chicago area. You know how cold it gets here. I'm fine during the winter, even fall and spring. Summer comes, forget it. But because they lower my dosage, I don't have the edema anymore. Muscles, yes. Even though they lowered it, it's hard for me to work out. I cannot clean house anymore. I don't know about you, Amanda. I get pains from the neck all the way down to my shoulders, all the way down to my lower back and my arms, and they go numb, and I have to stop. So if I'm dusting or cleaning, I have to stop and go lie down because all of this, like right now, just talking to you and sitting here, I'm starting to feel the pain right back here. So when we're done, I'm gonna go eat, and then I have to lie down like this so the pain to go away.
Yep.
Um, so I mean, of course, they're gonna tell you take Tylenol, Advil, Aleve, but I don't want to take that because it's already my liver is already it's our these TKIs, it's already harsh on our liver, and I'm not trying to add more to it. So I just deal with the pain.
Yeah.
And I do stretch. Like I'm always stretching my neck like this. So I do the stretches, and then my husband will massage me. That helps and alleviate. But you know, if I could afford to go get a massage every week, I would, but I don't have that kind of money. But there are ways to help you guys with your side effects. Just make sure that you talk to your oncologist or your doctor. I mean, the sun, I think that's all TKIs. The sun, just put a crap load of sunscreen. I mean, so yeah,
And sunscreen has even helped me. Like I can put sunscreen on and I still get it.
yeah.
The only thing I found that has helped is like the sun protective UPF clothing. That is
Okay.
the only
Yes.
thing.
Yes. Yes. If you could afford that, because I looked it up and that was expensive as hell. Unless you
I,
get it cheap
sell,
on Amazon.
sells on Amazon.
Yeah. Yes, that is so true.
Um, but I'd say the biggest thing, like with it, talking to your oncologist, have your oncologist right away because you're gonna have side effects with these meds. Um, get a palliative care. Like I thought palliative care
Yes.
was like hospice. No, it's not. It is helping you deal with the side effects. That is the best thing that learning from the ALK Positive family. Like get a palliative care doctor. It is amazing. There's one with my cancer center that I get to see him. I see him every couple months. If I need to see him more frequently, like he will get you what you need to deal with those side effects.
And I am so glad you brought that up. That is so important because, yes, many people out there think that that's hospice. It's not, guys. You heard it from Melissa. So if you're thinking about it, you're not sure, you just got it from both of us. But I don't do palliative care. She does. So there you have it. I'm so glad you brought that up. So, yeah.
It was the best thing I did for myself. Like
Yes.
it helps immensely.
Yes, it does. I've heard that. I didn't need it, and I still don't need it. I mean, the side effects, I just like my doctor, my team at University of Chicago Medical Center, and then the ones I have here in Indiana, which are few because I go
Mm-hmm.
to Chicago. They
Yep.
help me out a lot with all that stuff. So, like I said, I don't need a palliative care like person, but my doctors are great. So yeah. But yeah, if you guys need it, I highly recommend it. And you heard it from Amanda's mouth. It is a must. Yeah. Biomarker and palliative care. I'm so glad you brought that up. Um, so Amanda, is there anything else that you want to talk about, or you want to bring awareness that maybe we missed? And I'm glad the palliative care was one, and I'm glad you brought that up. Is there anything else, or do you want to give more information about that, or
Um, I would say, the biggest thing, as you're going through this or family and stuff is I I had people are going to treat you different, and a lot of it has to stem with their lack of education or understanding.
yes.
Um, because I have friends that that have other types of cancers and stuff, and they go, well, chemotherapy, and I'm like, well, I'm not on chemotherapy. It is a targeted drug, so it doesn't suppress my immune system like chemotherapy would traditionally do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to deal with different side effects than a traditional chemotherapy. So there are some that overlap with both, but there are some different things. People, like, I get a lot that um just because your friends look, and a lot of people, like, they go, you look great. I go, I may look great, but I feel like crap. I,
Yes.
I'm tired. I can't do it. I'm working full time still. I'm a college professor, so I am still teaching. I'm still doing research with my graduate students. I'm still involved in club activities with students. I took, with another faculty member, we took 10 students to a meeting in Oklahoma for 10 days and doing the long days there. Um, you know, we can live a life, but you need cognizant of when you've had enough, don't push yourself
Yes.
beyond because you're gonna pay for it later. And I've done it from experience that I've pushed myself because I'm like, I used to do it all the time. Um, but it's okay to admit that, you know what, I can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or you be selective on what do you want to spend your energy
Right.
on. Enjoy life. It,
Yeah.
it's it's meant to be enjoyed. So, my husband, like, we go out, and we always had a hard time because both of us were very involved in our jobs. We're both college professors at different institutions, and I we've instituted now date nights again and doing things together, because we got our let our job get away with what was going on. So do things with your family, do things with your friends, do things that mean something to you, and don't worry about what anybody else says.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you said that. I've been saying that for years. And so now you guys heard it again from Amanda. I always say, live life. We only got one life to live, and it's this one. Enjoy it. Don't worry about stuff that is not important. Live life, enjoy it. Do whatever the hell you want to do. If you want to eat that damn cupcake and 10 chocolate chip cookies or whatever, eat it. Just enjoy it.
Yes.
Enjoy it. I mean, I'm not supposed to, but I'm gonna do it. Enjoy it. Take that trip, right? Buy that car. Go on a cruise. Buy your dream house if you could afford it. Remodel your home. I mean, just do it. Enjoy it now, because when we're gone, we're not gonna enjoy it. I don't know if we turn into a ball of energy or where we go. I mean, enjoy it
And
now.
then, a lot of us are going to get scan anxiety. Like, that is the big, like, it is something that is real. And anybody that tells you it isn't is lying. A lot of us will talk about living, scan to scan. So we get nervous just before our scan until we get the results back, and then we live for a while, and then the next scan comes. Have traditions that, after scan. So my thing is, after every scan, I go to a local coffee shop and I get a coffee and cinnamon toast. And that is my treat to myself that, hey, regardless of the results, I did the scan and I've made it this far.
Yes.
And then when we get the results back, my husband and I always go out to dinner. Like, that is our one celebration. And so, if anything, we got to have more celebrations.
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. You hear that, guys? Celebrate. Every scan, every MRI, every PET scan, whatever. Celebrate. Do something like Amanda does. Find a little something. Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, there, I can't see any questions, but then again, I'm on my phone, and last time, when after the live, I went back and there was a crap load of questions. So, guys, if I'm not answering it, it's not, look, it's not coming up on my phone. It's still Becky's. It's not coming up on my phone. So don't worry. Um, I'll go back in there. I'm pretty sure Amanda will go back in and
Yep.
she'll go and she'll answer any questions. I'm not getting them. So I'm sorry. Just this is just it gets how Facebook and Zoom and all that just gets a little funky. That's all. But we will answer your questions. And therefore, Amanda, don't worry, she'll go in there and she will answer the questions. Just give her some time. Because again, she's 2 hours behind me. Um, and so before we leave, Amanda, I know you gave some great pointers, some great advice. So let me ask you this. What one word of encouragement will you give our fellow lung cancer brothers and sisters, or anyone that's watching that might be going through something? Doesn't have to be lung cancer, but they suffer from depression. Um, Something bad happened. You know what I'm saying? Um, a one word of encouragement, what would that be? It
Live
could be
life.
more than one word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some type of
Yeah. Live your life. Live
thank you.
it for you.
Thank you. Yes. You heard it, guys. Live your life. Live it for you. So I have to go back on my phone because I want to let you know the next person I'm going to interview next Thursday. My phone keeps going off. So guys, next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. I had to say that. Same bad time, same bad channel. I'm going to interview Deb Pearson Hughes. And I don't think I got her information yet. But she's next Thursday. Um, so make sure you tune in. And then I'll find out, she has a mutation and then all that stuff and do the introduction. But guys, thank you so much for joining. Amanda, again, thank you so much for taking
Thank
time.
you.
I know you're busy and you're still working, but thank you for this. I'm so glad you shared your story. You brought up some great um, points, advice, suggestions, everything. Thank you so much for that. Guys, I hope you learned from Amanda. If you want to connect with her, if you feel that you could connect with her, your story is similar to hers, reach out to her. It doesn't matter if you're 1 year, 2 year, or 10 years. If you connect with her, your stories are similar, reach out to her. If you're in the California area, reach out to her. We're all here for you guys, for newly diagnosed, for caregivers as well, and for those that have been living with lung cancer 2+, 5+, 10+ years. We are here for you. And that's why I started doing these interviews again, because we just have to just keep bringing awareness, educating people, push that biomarker and stop that darn stigma, because I just about had it with that stigma. So we need to put lung cancer on the map. We need to give more funding, more research, so we could live longer, so we could turn lung cancer into a chronic disease. And that's my goal. And there's gonna be times that I'm not gonna be able. I know in October there's gonna be 2 weeks where I'm not going to do anything. I'll be on my 10-year trip with my sister in Italy. But that's, I'll let you guys know then. But there's gonna be times that I won't have anything, but don't worry, you guys will know. And let me see what else. And if you're interested in sharing your story, lung cancer, any type of other cancer, something rare that you feel that there's no attention and you want to get the word out, hit me up. Let me know. I would love to interview you and talk about you and what you're going through in your journey and spread the word. And if anyone out there's on TikTok and wants to do a TikTok live, let me know, because I've been wanting to do a TikTok live, but a lot of people are not on TikTok. I'm sorry, guys. I love TikTok. I'm a TikTok fanatic, but I've been wanting to interview someone with lung cancer, TikTok live, or even cancer. So if you're on TikTok, you want to do it, hit me up. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining. Everyone, have a great evening. Again, Amanda, thank you so much, honey.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye.